The Orlando Magic are acquiring one of the youngest and more promising rosters in the league after the trades of Nikola Vucevic, Aaron Gordon, and Evan Fournier. They have now added Wendell Carter Jr. and Gary Harris, who will be guys that are off the team in a year or two. Wendell Carter being expiring, and Gary Harris, his contract is up 2 years. He could potentially be dealt next year or will leave as a free agent. But most notably, they have added RJ Hampton to add to their good young guards in Markelle Fultz and Cole Anthony, Wendell Carter Jr. to replace Nikola Vucevic as the center of the future, because Mo Bamba has not panned out up to this point. They've added first-round picks in 2025, 2021, and 2023. The 21 and 23s from Chicago and the 25 from Denver. And then second-round picks in 2027 and 2025 from Boston. They have added themselves a nice plethora of picks and young talent to add to what they already have on the roster, from Fultz, Jonathan Isaac, Mo Bamba, Cole Anthony, and Okeke. And they've gotten themselves a very good package of young players on this team that they can now build around in their future. And that is what we're going to be talking about today, and how their team looks like it could potentially be a competent team in a couple of years as they continue to develop. With that being said, if you guys do want to consider subscribing, I post 5 or more NBA content videos a week. Content like this for viewing trades, possible trade scenarios, looking forward to the offseason, player reviews, teams reviews, all those sorts of things. So if you guys are interested in that, consider subscribing down below and leave a like if you guys do enjoy the video. With that being said, let's get right into it. And so, there's no doubt that Orlando were expected to and did absolutely sell their team this week as far as their veterans went. Terrence Ross was the only guy that I expected to get dealt but did not get dealt, but Aaron Gordon, Nikola Vucevic, and Evan Fournier all got dealt. Nikola Vucevic being the most surprising one to me. I didn't think someone was going to be willing to give up as much as Chicago did. And I didn't think there was going to be a team as interested as Chicago to be able to acquire Nikola Vucevic. But now there's a duo of Levine and Vucevic in Chicago for the long term, and Orlando have acquired themselves some very nice talent to build around. And so, they're now looking at a scenario where their young core consists of RJ Hampton, Wendell Carter Jr., Markelle Fultz, Jonathan Isaac, Mo Bamba, if you want to consider him anymore, Cole Anthony, and Okeke. They have 5 to 7 guys that they can build around now, 3 of which are guards. And so you have to think that their guard scenario moving forward is going to be very, very dependable. You would think 2 of these guys are the Fultz, Cole Anthony, and RJ Hampton are going to develop. RJ Hampton has a lot of potential on both ends of the floor. Obviously very inexperienced still, but has a lot of potential to develop into a very good player. And there's no doubt he will get a lot of PT in Orlando, specifically with Cole Anthony and Markelle Fultz currently injured. And he will slide right into, I would assume, that starting point guard role, or if not significant backup minutes for the time being. And he will continue to see his development grow on both ends of the floor there. Markelle Fultz has shown great signs at the back end of last season. He got his extension, deservedly so, and then unfortunately went down with an injury this year. But he looked like he was finally starting to show why he was a high first-round draft pick. He wasn't exactly playing at a first overall pick level, but his decision-making, his playmaking, his shooting, everything just looked a lot more comfortable and natural for him, and at the level closer to what we would have expected from him when he came into the league, which is great to see. And then the most exciting part of this team for me has to be Jonathan Isaac, as far as what was already on the roster. Jonathan Isaac is just an elite 2-way player. His offense was starting to very much develop before he had that unfortunate injury last year. And I look forward to seeing him again next year. There's no doubt he has the potential, if he can come back well from his injury, to be one of the best, if not the best, wing defender and just defender in general in the league. His length and mobility, his defensive IQ, his physicality, it's all there. Good rebounding. He has all of the abilities athletically and mentally to be one of the best defenders in the league. And he still continues to develop his offensive game, so the ceiling for him is going to be very high. He's not as young as he once was, of course, now. He is now 23, but there's still lots of room to develop for him. His three-point shooting has continued to improve throughout the course of his career, and his defense, as I mentioned, and we all know, is top tier and is going to be an all-NBA defensive player many times throughout his career. Wendell Carter Jr. at center is going to be interesting. He obviously has had some up and down moments in Chicago, but he's still very young. He's only 21 years old, 4th overall pick. He has a lot of potential at that position. He's a fairly good rebounder. He can often get in foul trouble, but there's a lot to work with there. He's going to get a lot of minutes in Orlando. He will find his way through experience to be able to become a better player, and there's no doubt that Orlando have acquired a quality starting center for the future here in Wendell Carter Jr. And so it gives them a lot of options. Obviously, they have 3 guards, so they have a bit of a surplus at the guard position. Okeke's around, Issac's around, Mobamba's still kicking around, although his contract is up at the end of next year, so they'll have to decide what they want to do with him. But it gives them a scenario where they can continue to develop what they have on the roster. They have extra first-round picks now in 2021, 23, and 25, so they could potentially package some young assets along with a pick to acquire some top-end talent as the team continues to develop. You could potentially see one of these guards, along with a first-round pick or two, to acquire a top-end talent to throw along Jonathan Isaac and whatever guards they decide to keep with Wendell Carter, and that could potentially be the way they decide to develop the team. They could also just use all their draft picks, try and acquire talent through the draft, because there's no doubt this team won't be great for a couple of seasons, so they're going to have some high draft picks. The beautiful thing is about Orlando is they have some good young talents on this team. They don't have a lot of salary commitments. Otto Porter Jr. is going to be off the books this year. Gary Harris the year after that. He may even be traded before then. Jonathan Isaac's already got his extension. Markelle Fultz has already got his extension. Wendell Carter, they are going to have to pay in a year, but other than that, they don't have to pay anyone until the 2024 season outside of Wendell Carter and Mobamba. It'll be interesting to see what they do end up deciding to do with Mobamba. And outside of that, everyone is locked up until 2024, and then Fultz, Cole Anthony, Okeke, and Hamtpon will all need new deals. But they have a lot of financial flexibility for the next few years. The poor guys are all locked up or on their rookie deals. And so they're going to have options to flip some of these guys and potentially add some more assets with some of those first-round picks, or to just draft and try and build out of the draft and go from there. But it's always a good thing when you're a team who's rebuilding, who has a lot of options, whether that's via trade, whether that's via the draft. There's a lot to like about Orlando here. It's another retool, which I know for Orlando fans has to be frustrating. It feels like it's been a retool for a long time since Dwight Howard has left the team. But there's some serious pieces here and some serious ways that Orlando could acquire a very talented roster. And I think there's a reason to be optimistic as an Orlando fan right now. I don't think it's all doom and gloom by any stretch. There's no doubt the team's going to be not as competitive for a couple of years, but I think it was a smart move by the front office to try and move from the mediocrity they were at the last couple seasons and try and raise their ceiling a little bit more than they've been able to for the last decade or so. With that being said, let me know your thoughts down below on Orlando's future. Who do you think their key pieces are going to be and what moves you can see down the line for them? If you guys did enjoy the video, feel free to leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel for more NBA content. The next video should be a video on the Chicago Bulls and how I think Nikola Vucevic will fit into that team and how that raises their ceiling moving forward. If you guys did enjoy it, feel free to leave a like. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one.